What is up? Matt Pratt, and today I get to show you guys a new build. And this build is pretty cool because this is a car I probably wanted my entire life and never even thought I'd be able to buy one, let alone pay cash for it. So let's get to it, show it off. What we have here is a 93 5-speed Toyota Supra. Now, it's not a twin turbo, it's not a 6-speed, which is the big money ones, but it is a Toyota Supra and it is 5-speed. So I don't have to convert it to manual and so on. This is probably the best scenario for a cheap Supra. Now, at first take, you can see has unfinished body work. All the body kit is molded in. I don't like that. I want it completely OEM. It's got a weird target top with some kind of material on it. That's going to be interesting. It feels like leather. The paint is in kind of crappy condition. I have a broken back window. As you see, the front end doesn't look too great. I got a really tight gap here and a really big gap here. Side skirts molded into the fender. That's going to be interesting. Of course, more unfinished bodywork. And the worst part of all, it doesn't run. So I got this car for under $10,000 and I'm completely happy with that. I think that I can get this car where I want it for another 10 grand. So if I can have a Supra for $20,000 completely paid for in excellent condition, I would be pumped. I never thought in a million years I would be able to do this. But as you know, this car popped up randomly. I couldn't pass it up. I had to pick it up. And it is on a list of other projects. It has to go in my garage. It's been sitting outside for a couple months now. And before it goes in my garage, I need to take off these side skirts, take off this rear bumper, and figure out at least why it's not running. And that's where I'm going to start with this project. So let's get on it. I'm probably going to crush that rocker. See what happens. Oh, look at it. Oh no. No. Oh no. Oh, what'd you do to my car, man? This makes it easier to take off. Oh, she's in the air. Looks like we damaged something. Oh well. The sad part is these suckers held up. I noticed we got some screws or rivets right there, so I'll be punching those out, prying, and hopefully it'll crack right off of there, nice and clean. Everything looks pretty good in here. I do got a little bit of apron damage right here. We'll have to take a look into that a little bit later. But that's not too scary to me. Looks like we're just looking at a bunch of rust. No major oil leaks, if it even has any oil. Suspension looks to be somewhat stock. This one right here is got a little bit of oil on it, definitely blown. The exhaust is definitely some homemade welded down the street muffler shop. I thought it would have been cool because it had a decent canister on there, but it doesn't. Looks like the suspension is just some springs. I was hoping that maybe we had some coilovers under there, but we don't. Uh-oh. Looks like we got an open diff. Interesting. So definitely probably going to invest in a new rear. But so it just looks like that upper apron area looks like it was, you know, the only major damage. This apron, you can't really see up in there, so as a fender liner, but it doesn't look too hateful in there. Just a little bit of where the wheel is rubbed. I expect it to have some sort of damage. So looks like in here had some welding going on. Yeah, it might have like a lower rad support, lower tie bar. I see a couple rusty welds in there, possibly maybe an upper core support. Still not too bad for as cheap as I got this car. Well, I just wanted to see what was underneath of it. I think I have to bring it down to take any of the other body panels off. Woo! Non-turbo with the Dizzy. Guess what? People pay money for these. I don't know what they do with them, but they pay money for them. So as you can see, someone put like distributor and stuff on it. Maybe they did this wrong. Maybe the timing's messed up. Maybe this coil's blown. I don't even know what this coil goes to. Who knows? But we'll check all this in a minute. Already trying to take these bolts out, running into issues. They have nuts on the back of these bolts, and it's like you can't even get a wrench on them. I don't even know how they got them in, and I can't get them out. So it just shows me that the first 5 bolts to take off this thing are already a pain in the ass. This is going to be a trouble build, I guarantee it. This thing was no joke. Had too many damn bolts in here. I had to cut across the top of here and cut across there because the bolts, it's like, how do you expect me to get up in there? You know, like, look at this one. This really confuses me because that looks like the other side. So I have no clue how this person got this bumper on. I don't even think that's where they're supposed to mount. I'm gonna have to look it up. All this stuff looks like a little mangled and confused. We got a marker light down here. These bolts I couldn't get to at all. Take a light on there. don't know what size they were, but my sockets obviously weren't fitting in there, and they're lock nuts, like great. So at least right now with the bumper cut off, I can get some vice grips in there. This looks factory. Yeah, it's got a couple boogered up welds in there. I'll probably have to re-weld most of that stuff. We'll just see how it all lines up. I'll definitely grind it all down and clean it up for sure. Now, by the look of the stock bumper, looks like it does mount up here. I'm sure I need brackets for the stock bumper. This actually mounts better now that this bumper's out of the way. If you look over here, here's our stock bumper. This bumper was from a friend of mine who owns a body shop, and they replaced the original bumper, and I picked up this one. It has a lot of stress cracks and stuff. It's going to need a lot of work. You can hear the cracking. But anyways, looks like it just mounts up like that. I'm sure there's some kind of bracketry that goes in between all this. I'm just going to mount it up just for now, just sitting on there. It's all going to come off again. I'm just trying to get a one-piece looking Supra for now. Already looking good. I'm half tempted to sand this down and see what's behind it, and maybe put some primer on this whole front end just to make it look a little better. So now this is a little flimsy, but I think that's because of the brackets that are missing in there. This fits pretty good. Around the headlights fits pretty good. Around this headlight fits pretty good. But the hood is short. You can see there's a big old gap. This might have a seal in here, or just this aftermarket hood just don't fit right, because it looks like it's a little short here and a little tight everywhere else. I doubt this thing fits properly like it should, but look at that, already 100 times better. What the rear bumper looks like underneath all that. It definitely looks like it took a hit down here. We have some damage. This looks pretty good, even though they molded, well, they got a lot of mud up here. They molded everything up, so I guess we'll see what this looks like when I can get behind it, pop the trunk and look at the interior and everything. But definitely has some damage down here, nothing too crazy, doesn't surprise me. And this stuff, it's super messy. It sucks. So I have to get behind here to get all these bolts out, and this might be a problem. This is fancy, but how the hell does it come out? I'm on like the second night out here. First night I didn't get a chance to finish, it got too late. I just want to show you what I'm looking at here. So brought out a Sawzall, and I mean, I cut out a big chunk here, because this is built into the car. Like, there's no other way to get it out. I have to cut it out, and I just went straight down here, and like, look how they did this, man. I don't know if this is normal. This is a lot of work, man, and I hope that Dynamat peels off easy. Like, how do they expect to change the light bulbs in the taillight? You know what I mean?
Perfect. Perfect.
Dude, you can put a body in there. And this is what I'm left with. Luckily, this stuff comes off kind of okay. So, did not expect this at all. This is crazy. I'm done trying to pull this shit out. It just cut my freaking finger open. Took my gloves off to get a better grip. And yeah, the aluminum is actually pretty sharp for as flimsy it is. But at least I can get to the taillights now. And what's most important is I can get to the bolts back here, so I can finish taking this bumper off. So apparently I've never had Supra taillights out before, but I guess they weren't concerned about changing bulbs because you just pop this screw there, that screw there, and the whole taillight comes out like that. So I guess if they had access to that, it was cool. And of course, if you're going to mold a rear bumper on, you're never ever going to take it off anyway, so they didn't even care about this trunk compartment anymore. So it's interesting. Alright, rear bumper is off. So the way they put this bumper on and the way I ended up taking it off, because I really couldn't get to the back side in here anyway, is I just cut it and then I'll just get to these bolts here. They actually feel like they're studs here. I don't know if that's like that from the factory. I'm gonna do something different. These are definitely studs here. Somehow you're supposed to get your hand up in here and unbolt these. There's no way that would have ever happened. Good news is that the rear body panel is original. No different seams or anything going on in there. A little bit of color, something flaking off on this seam, but it still looks original. So this car in the rear hasn't taken any major hits. I do know that my quarter panel over here is banged up pretty good. We got a dent here, we got a dent in this area, so when I put the new bumper on there, I'll see how far off it is. But yeah, the metal's pretty beat up, and it looks like I got a couple waves right there. It might have bodywork all the way across this quarter. Ain't a big deal, I ain't scared of, that's just what happens. So I dug out this side a little bit, and we do have some bodywork here. Looks like they got some Mar glass in there. I guess they had a pretty gnarly dent. I don't know, it feels like I can metal straighten it back. Maybe I won't have so much mud into it. But yeah, we got mud all the way up to here. Gas door fits okay, so hopefully it doesn't go too far up there. The next step is to get these side skirts off. I guess I'll start with busting up some of these rivets. When I was underneath the car, I didn't see anything underneath holding it. And yeah, I guess I'll grind these rivets down too and see if this thing will break off clean. Yeah, right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Man, I really want to knock out all the bodywork on this thing like right away, but I actually have another car I should be working on, and one of the reasons why I'm trying to do all the bodywork on this car is because I want to put it in my garage, and I have a whole bunch of other parts sitting around waiting to be put on, like the bumpers and the side skirts, and I just don't want them sitting around here collecting dust, so I want to throw them on the car and then put it in my garage. But the car that's replacing in my garage is actually what I want to be working on next. So, well, anyways, this side looks like it's done. I'm going to feather out a little bit of the mud, grind some of the glue off, and then we can start working on the other side.
Perfect. Perfect.
And we have a Supra. Yes, we do. It's getting there. First step knocked out. Take all the Fast and the Furious off of it. And what we're left with, a whole lot of trash. Look at all that. But the good news is this trash is getting replaced with, oh yeah, parts. Step one of the Supra build is done. Next step is I have to put all those body panels on here, and most important, get this thing running. I'm done for the night. I'm gonna go edit this video so I can upload it. Feel free to share, like, and throw me a comment. If you want to catch me and this Supra next week, hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all later.